Hey everyone, so here it is, the finale, as promised, after the global Dokkan anniversary, and marking the official end to my daily Dokkan journey. We're going to be doing best teams, so with that, let's go ahead and dive right in. Bittersweet, of course, but I still have to start with the disclaimer. The term best teams is my opinion and is purely subjective. There is no official tier list or best teams ranking from Akatsuki or Bandai. And how I rank my teams, I look at a multitude of different things: leader skill, damage defense, special skills, flex, bench strength, overall gameplay, game mode effectiveness, and I look at all areas of the game: start of the game, middle of the game, and end of the game. And currently I still do this. We have the main rotations, I do the flex, and then still run a support. You do not have to run a support unit, and a lot of these events now these days, you shouldn't run a support unit unless they can handle themselves. But there is the disclaimer and how I rank the teams. Let's dive into game mode effectiveness. These are the three hardest events in the game currently right now, and this isn't a video to say who's the best that can do these three events, but it's a general overall in terms of all content and these three events, because not everybody can do all three of these events very effectively, but some kind of can. So anyway, let's look at the last time I did best teams, which is crazy. It was May 2025. We're August 2025 now, so it's been 3 months since I've done best teams. This was the previous best teams before the global Dokkan anniversary, and of course a lot has changed. A ton has changed. Really, there's not much on this list that is still on this list. There's a few, but also I want to let you guys know the top 5 teams. I did merge a lot of teams together, because if I did a top 10 teams and I didn't merge, it would be kind of like the same teams over and over again. So just keep that in mind when we go into the top 5. It is going to be merged teams with like 2 teams that are very similar to each other, and that's kind of how I'm officially ranking these best teams here. So before we dive in, let's go ahead and look at some honorable mentions, starting with the OP unit of Chile. She is on this team in Peppy Gals here. We're currently in the Peppy Gals celebration. The Roshi team here is a short duration team because his damage mitigation runs away at or goes away at 7 turns. But boy, being able to run Chile on a leading team is kind of fun. So I had to throw this in as an honorable mention. I do want to give a shout out to the Broly team, which is no longer in the top 10 anymore. It was a top 5 team in May, but now it's no longer a top 10 team, but still solid teams to be using in 90% of the content. And then also with that is the Buhan team as well, Power Absorption Transformation Boost, which did get an upgrade with Omega Shenron on here, but just did not make the cut in terms of top 10 team. Could it be in the top 20? Maybe, but ultimately the Omega Shenron does help this team quite a bit, but no love over here for the Broly team though. Another shout out and honorable mention is for the Earthbred Fire Saiyan Saga Yamcha team, because dodge now is at a premium, right? We want to dodge a lot of these attacks because they hit so hard these days. The Yamcha team is kind of still effective, and it still runs a pretty decent team in the LR Blues and the LR34 there and the TN combination. It's still a usable team, and I do just want to make sure it's an honorable mention here. And the final honorable mention before we get into the top 10 has to be LR, Frieza, and Goku. Alright, so hear me out here. Look at the rotations that this team can do, right? It can do the Gogeta rotation, could do the LRGG and LR Blues rotation on here with a 220% LR34 support. If you can get past the turn 4 and exchange into Goku, this then team becomes, I would say, top 5 if Frieza wasn't in those first 4 turns. All right, so just kind of keep that in mind. And then even an extreme team, right? This Battle of Fate 220 got buffed so much, but it's the first 4 turns, as we know, that Frieza can be a sitting duck there unless you're 77% HP or below. But if you can get past that, once they exchange, they become a dominant team. So definitely definitely a opportunity here in terms of an honorable mention. But if they just made like one turn or something of that nature for Frieza just to get out of that first turn, this could easily be in the top 10. So anyway, Battle of Fate. Don't shy away from them. Don't sleep on them. So all right, let's go ahead and transition in the top 10 here. I'm already 5 minutes into this video, so I'll try to hurry up a little bit more. So coming number 10 was a surprise to me. I was trying to figure out, okay, who do I put in? Because technically, you know, I can maybe even add some of these guys on the honorable mentions, but I ended up choosing Tech UI Goku's team because, like I mentioned, dodge is a premium here. And then any situations where you have a dodge cancellation, a battle, you want to run Tech UI Goku anyway. But of course, you know, having only one unit being able to run the domain issue is still quite there. But again, dodging is still going to be very, very beneficial. Dodge or die with UI Goku in a sense. But look at the rotations you can run. You can run the Rose rotation and the LR Gods, Blues and Gods rotation there, albeit at 170% for the LR Gods there. But you're running a 200% to LR34, which is going to boost everybody on the main rotation up there. Why do I not have the support on here? Let me fix that really quick. I don't know why I don't have the support line there. There we go. There's a support line, and do that here as well. There we go. There's a support line. So if you do want to run at 200%, you can run another support unit there in Vegito Blue, or run the new EZA Super Saiyan 2, what I call Eraser Gohan, because he just erases enemies because he hits so hard, right? So I think in the 10 spot here, which I just realized I didn't put number 10. Give me 1 second, a quick edit. Okay, there's the number 10 there. So I just put the 10 on the screen. So this is going to be the number 10 for me. It was kind of a surprise, but it makes sense. Again, dodge being a premium on here, and he does have a lot of utility, and the main rotations are very, very solid. So pretty decent bench strength as well. So we're coming in at number 10 as Tech UI Goku. Let's go ahead and move on to the number 9 spot, and boy, does this team never go away. So coming in number 9, Beast Gohan, Superheroes, Bottom Master Disciple, Miraculous Awakening. Again, you're running that top rotation there in the LR Blues and the EZA to the 7-year anniversary Gods. That rotation is one of the best, if not the best rotation in the game. And yeah, you're looking at a solid team overall. You're running LRGG GG in 170%, unfortunately, but there's a lot of mix and match you can do on here. You can actually run you know, TN on there in first position if you like, if you don't want to have LRGG there, in the dodge cancellation, a lot of different things that you can. It's very versatile team still, and Superheroes is still running strong. So coming in number 9, Beast Gohan, seemingly never going away. So one of the goats of Dokkan in the number 9 spot. So moving on to number 8 here, we got number 8 as the LR Boo Boys. So the LR Gohan exchanged into Goten and Trunks here. It's just a powerhouse team. The bench, unfortunately, is not all that great, and the synergy has to be specific, right? Especially on certain units that you want to bring for youth categories, more so than even Hybrid Saiyans. But if you can get the active skill turned on when it for Gohan, or at least I'm sorry, not his active skill, but his extra passive turned on, and then boost for youth in the exchange for the Trunks and Goten, then this team also then becomes even more powerful at that point in time. So again, great standalone team. I think this would be top 5 standalone, but being that we're looking at it more overall with the bench strength, things of that nature, it just doesn't quite meet up with all the other units that we're going to be talking about, all the other teams that we're going to talk about. But still, overall, still great team here, useful team in the top 10, powerhouse, and the LR Boo Boys are very, very, very good. So let's go ahead and move on to the number 7 spot. So actually number 8, 7, and 6 for me have similarities in terms of its standalone team is very good. It's just the flaws in their bench strength and overall flexibility is not as good as the other top 5 teams. So 8, 7, and 6 could be also interchangeable as well. So number 8, LR Boo Boys, and then number 7 is Super Bosses. Super Bosses in of itself, the category at 220 is very restrictive. However, with Rose and Zamasu, with the new Rosemasu here, this team is incredibly strong because of that boost for any character that has Goku Black name on it is getting an incredible boost, right? So running a full Goku Black team here is going to be running more like a 300% than it would be for 220. So it's very strong, even though the units in of itself don't look all that strong. But if you're running Goku Black units, it is going to be very strong here, and it's also the best free-to-play team that you can run. So given that I am looking at, if you're starting the game out and like which unit would you pick to start the game out, you might want to pick Rose here in LR STR Rosemasu, because you can just get all the free-to-play units and clear out 90% of the game. So very strong, very powerful. Again, Rose in of itself is a top 5 LR unit. But ultimately, the team, I think it lacks the bench strength to make it higher than the top 5 or even at the number 7 spot here. And I'll just go ahead and move on to the number 6 spot, which would be Omega Shenron. So Omega Shenron team is a little bit more versatile because it has 3 categories. You can run different units on here in Human Deeds, Power Absorption, and GT Bosses. But it also can run, main rotation or off rotation as support, which in a sense, I guess Rose can do that, but you don't really have other first position units that you can substitute kind of with, sort of, I don't know. I think this has more versatility, and being a 250-220 lead, it's slightly stronger in terms of that. And of course, you can still run a full GT Bosses, and if you can make GT Bosses runnable, hey, you know what, I got to give you props in of itself, right? Because that was a dead on arrival category when it initially came out, but now it can actually be used. So, running a full GT Bosses and almost a full Omega Shenron team here is very interesting. So that comes with the flexibility. So that's where number 8, 7, and 6 come in, where I actually had them kind of floating around in the top 5, but because of its lack of flexibility and it's not as good as the top 5. How about that? So stop rambling on. So let's go ahead and move on and transition into the top 5 here. And it's going to be a huge surprise for number 5. For me, I actually had number 5 in the number 7 spot, or after Rose, and I had this one at 6 and then had this one at 5 for time being. But after like using them and after just kind of looking at, again, overall aspects of it all, number 5 surprised me, and because it just has all the rotations that you want to run, and even though it's running at a 200% team, it's a top team. It's the top 5 team, and that's LRTN's team, right? It's Gap's surprise. Yeah, LRTN's team, final trump card, not Earthlings. Earthlings we can care less about, but final trump card is so good that I tend to always forget how good that category is, because remember when it initially came out, we were at 170, and it was Final Trump Card came out, I believe it was the 5-year anniversary, and it only started at 150. It was always kind of a step behind, because they knew Final Trump Card was going to be a incredible category. And this is basically the start. You'll see the same rotation in the top 5 teams over and over again, is the rotation of the LR Blues with the EZA 7-year anniversary gods, and then Gogeta with the Super Saiyan 4s, right? You're just going to see that rotation over and over again for main rotations, because I think those are the best rotations in the game. And being that, Tien just becomes support, right? Defensive support, albeit, but support, and he can dodge. He has the ability to dodge, or he has the ability to tank, which creates that versatility, right? So again, surprising when I was doing this, I was like, I can't put him in number 7, because if I put him number 7, then it's also going to discount my top teams in number 4 and number 3, number 2, right? Even number 1. So I had him put him in the 5 spot, and again, a surprise to me in doing so. But remember, I am merging teams, so there is another team that kind of is similar to this, but you're not bringing Tien, and that's actually Movie Heroes Final Trump Card Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Dodge or die for sure, but in a sense, it is virtually the same team minus Tien, right? So so I did want to throw that in there as a merged team. If you don't have Tien, you can still run a version of this team here in Final Trump Card. So yeah, surprise to me, surprise probably to you guys as well. Number 5, Final Trump Card, LRTN leading. Moving on to the number 4 spot, probably not a surprise. Maybe a surprise where it's number 4. Maybe people are thinking it's a little bit higher. And that's going to be the GT Heroes category team. That's going to be running at 220 with 2 Super Saiyan 4 Gogetas running on main rotation here, which is going to be incredible. Does the job. A lot of people were like, well, we can't do the the new Blue Zone. Well, again, 99% of the content, this is a dominant unit and a dominant team. So let's not worry about all that. It does do well on everything else. Maybe there's a few fights that it's not very good in, and that's fine, right? So so with that, the reason why it's at number 4 and maybe not number 3 or number 2, it's a dominant team. It hits crazy hard. It has great support units on here. The biggest issue is the bench strength is very, very weak, right? If you don't have the top tier units on here, you're not going to build this team very, very strong. So if you're missing 1 or 2 units, your bench strength will drop tremendously. Even with the new EZAs on here, in terms of that, could impact the team quite a bit. So just kind of keep that in mind. You know, as a standalone team, you could say that this is maybe number 2, but for instances in looking at this as an overall aspect of things and looking at bench strength, I had to put in number 4. So given that with the merge here, I have Giant 8 Power merged with GT Heroes, because most of the Giant 8 Power units that you're running is going to be GT Heroes anyway. In this case, you're running like the EZA grade 8 Vegeta, right, in first position here. And then Goku's kind of EZA STR Super Saiyan 4 Goku's kind of awkward position in this rotation here, but that's kind of what you want to run. And again, bench strength is again the biggest issue in the Giant 8 Power as well, the grade 8 Power as well. They both run at 220, very solid, but I think it's right for me to put them in the number 4 spot. Coming in at number 3 is the best 200% teams in the game. I would say there would be a little bit of competition here as well. I can't say like huge margin that they're the best 200%, because the TN team is very good as well. Is going to be the 200% to Fuse Fighters and for Power Beyond Super Saiyan's movie Heroes. So both of these teams here, and the Super Saiyan 4 7th anniversary teams here, again, you're running those 2 crazy rotations, albeit it does have to be a little bit different, because you're going to run the Super Saiyan 4s in main rotation here, and you're going to run the Gods on main rotation here, because if you don't run them in main rotation, you have one as a floater, it's not going to link very well on that. But again, that's fine. Still, you're going to have versatility. You're not going to have very much weaknesses. It does a multitude of all around all of the events. You know, all 3 of them. You can run them all 3 as well, of the hardest events in the game, and just has that versatility with Fuse Fighters, GT Heroes, and then you have Power Beyond Super Saiyans. So I was going to actually merge GT Heroes, right? Like merge them all together, but it's more this and this are kind of the merge versus this and this. Like GT Heroes 220, but this, because it has Fused Fighters, provides you that ability to run the LR Blues and the EZA Gods and a multitude of other units as well. Whereas over here, you can't run like the 10-year anniversary units on here if you're going to run festival battles or something of that nature, right? So much more versatility in these 2 teams here because of that Fused Fighters category, and then Power Beyond Super Saiyan movie Heroes, right? So coming in a number 3 spot, I don't think that this is a surprise from a lot of people in terms of best teams. So top 3 is a 200% team. Go figure. Is Power Beyond Super Saiyans and the Super Saiyan 4s. Now coming in number 2. I think a lot of people are going to say, no, there's no way this is the second best. I have to disagree, because everybody just says, hey, you know what, Gogeta sucks. And or at least Vegeta sucks in terms of Gogeta here in the 10-year anniversary units. And I go, it sucks on like 1 to 2 events, right? He's still dominant in, like I mentioned before, in other teams, 99% of the content. And this has the best leader skill in the game. right? Because it has Pure Saiyans. Pure Saiyans, Fused Fighters, Successors is a kind of a plus there, but Fused Fighters and Pure Saiyans as the main categories that you're running, you can run pretty much everybody that's overly powerful. It's going to run those two rotations in the main rotation, and Vegeta is just floating. Just get past it, and when he transforms into Gogeta, everything's pretty much going to be done. So I can't fault the bench strength. The bench strength is so good. The versatility is so good, on this team, that I just could not move them down just because of Vegeta. And then same thing for Vegito here, the 10-year anniversary Vegito. This actually does have a problem because the 7-year anniversary and the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, they're running at 170%. So in reality, I would put them as a standalone, probably out of the top 5. I don't know if I would do so here, right? As a standalone, maybe I put them in out of the top 5. But as an overall team, as a starter team, as a mid-level team, like the tiny few events in the in-game content you might have some issues with, but still, these teams are so incredibly strong. I could not move them out of the top 3. I actually had them in the 3rd spot because I was like, maybe there's a little bit more versatility here. But again, I just looked at the bias of Pure Saiyan's category as the main one of the main lead categories on here, and I go, you can just run everybody, right? If you started here with GT Heroes and Fused Fighters, a little bit more hard to do than starting here in Pure Saiyans and Fused Fighters, right? So coming in at number 2, holding strong 10-year anniversary units, all right, for best teams, not necessarily best units because it's running all the best units, is Fused Fighters Pure Saiyans and Fused Fighters Pure Saiyans with Earth Protecting Heroes as the merged, but Successors here as the other ones. So what's number 1? It's a no-brainer. I would say most people would agree the best team in the game is running 2 LR Blues on the team, and of course Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Rose on the team, and the 7-year anniversaries on the team, all running at 250 and 220 combination on there. It's the LR Blues, right? It's no doubt about it. Definitely the best team in the game. It could do everything very well. It has a lot of versatility here. If you want to run a support, great. If you don't run a support, you can just slot in Gohan. You're like, hey, I'm slotting Gohan on here. So because he's on Fused Fighters. Oh, you know what? I just realized I needed to put that. I didn't put that on these teams here. I forgot to add him as an alt to all these other teams here, right? Fused Fighters here. You can slot in him here. Again, look at the you can just run everybody, right? Slot in here. Fused Fighters over here. I did slot them in here. Okay, we're good. Anyway, let me remove that. Going back into the number 1 team here, if you want to run a support, you can run a support. Not to run a support, you can slot in the Boo Boys in here. If you want to run Vegito on here to do festival battles, you can do that. Oh, by the way, some of you guys might realize, well, you're not running 2 GT Heroes. Okay, if you do want the added support that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta provides, you do have to run these units here. So the 7-year anniversary and then the other Int Gogeta on here, and then it will activate it. You don't need it though. That's how strong this team is. You don't need it. You don't need that 70% if you don't really want it. So and then you can also have some versatility and put in LRGG to boost everyone else as well, right? So yeah, number 1 team, I think for sure. No doubt about it, because running 2 LR Blues is going to be better than anything else. And the merged team I have here is the Bond of Parent Child and Future Saga on here. I think standalone here would be probably like number 8, number 7 if it was just standalone without being a part of the merged with the LR Blues. But again, it's virtually the same team. The difference is you do have to slot the LRGGs in slot 1, so it does have a lot of restrictions. So again, it would probably be like in the number 7 or number 8 spot if I did release them on their own, right? So there you have it. This is the top 10 teams officially at the end of my journey here, and let's recap it. Tech UI Goku coming back. I was surprised, but again, Dodge is at a premium now. So Tech UI Goku in Realm of Gods and all those other categories he has. I can't think of it on the top of my head here, but then you have superheroes in Beast Gohan. Then you have the Boo Boys. Then you have Rose's team. Then you have Omega's team. Then probably the big surprise is Final Trump card with LRTN. Then the Super Saiyan 4s. And also, maybe even merge Super Saiyan like 3 and 4 together. I can add maybe another spot. Like all that is very similar to each other. But GT Heroes, but then you have Fuse Fighters and GT Heroes and Power Beyond Super Saiyan's movie Heroes. I think those, the number 3 spot, the 7-year anniversary units, man, they just did an incredible job on them. 10-year anniversary still holds strong. I still believe that they are in the top 5. They're the number 1 team, before that. And could you argue they would be like maybe in the number 5 or number 6 spot? Sure, there's some argument about that. But when I look at bench strength and just overall flexibility of the team, I have to still put them in number 2. Then you have the Boo Boys with LRGG as the supplement there. I think LRGG, they did a great job in easing that unit there. But as standalone, I think they'll be out of the top 5. Anyway, there you have it, boys and girls. My best teams for the last time. Who knows? Maybe I might come back in the future. Some of you guys are saying, "Hey, why don't you just do one every 6 months or something like that?" Maybe, but I won't be in the know as good as I am now. But maybe this list is trash and you're gonna disagree with it. That's fine as well. Constructive criticism is okay with me. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this list here. Is it up your alley, or do you guys have problems with it? Let me know. But there it is, the finale, the last best teams officially. We'll see if I do make a comeback once in a while. But with that, marks the end of the era. So we'll catch you maybe in the next one. Who knows when that's going to be. Later.